of remote participation.
Thank you, Richard. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings as provided for in the order. Persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by joining this virtual meeting as an attendee or the live feed of the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel. You may also listen to the meeting by dialing into the number provided on the notice of meeting. The meeting will also be posted to the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel for future viewing. Please be patient as we work to overcome any technological challenges with the virtual meeting. For all meetings, all audience participants enter the virtual meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted when called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. Clearly state your name each and every time prior to speaking. Do not use speakerphone or Bluetooth devices when speaking. All votes must be roll call votes. After a motion is made and second, the chair will ask for a roll call vote. For applicants and presenters, applicants can use the raise hand button or press *9 on their phone to identify themselves to the chair. The moderator will unmute applicants when they are called upon to speak during their portion of the agenda. Applicants shall identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation. Applications or presentations provided by the applicant will be displayed by the moderator only if asked to do so. If it appears the meeting cannot or should not proceed, then the moderator will recommend that the chair request to continue the hearing to a later date and time. Public comment. During the portions of the hearing designated for public comment, the chair will ask if anyone in the audience has any questions or comments relating to the item being heard. Members of the public may request to speak by selecting the raise hand button or *9 on their phone and waiting for the chair to call on them to speak. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record and then provide their comment. I'm now handing back the meeting to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. There are 2 new applications for certificates of appropriateness, and there are 2 items that were tabled at the last meeting, and they will be heard this evening in the order that was on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it's the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by a decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. And our office administrator will be happy to answer questions you may have with respect to that process. So this evening, the first item is concerned with construction of a new dwelling at 65 Winter Street. The owners are Christine and Stephen Arden, and Ann Mishkowitz is the agent. So I'm not sure if all 3 of them are here or if Ann is handling this.
All right, I have some people to promote here. Oh, it's changing on me. All right, Anne has been promoted.
Ann is here?
Yes.
Good, okay. So if we have any questions, or if you want to start with any comments, you may do so. Ann. But the house itself, the layout on the plot plan is picture 5. that could be made a little smaller, I think. Good, thank you. Yeah, so it's kind of at the end of Windsor Street. You come down Winter Street quite a ways off of Route 6A. And on the turn is some open land right now. And it's kind of a pie-shaped lot. And the back section of it is wetland. And so you have to stay 50 feet away from the wetlands in some respects and 100 feet away in other respects. And so on that drawing, you see there's 100 feet from the wetland to this well or drainage for rainwater coming off the roof, collects there and on the left side. And the house has a one-car garage on the right side. House is set back about 40 feet from the road. So it's actually a two-story building, and the front of it, I think, is on the item picture 10. Good. Yeah. So it's a two-car garage on the right with some living space up above, and then doghouse, dormers, etc. 6/6 windows with grills and windows in the garage door. The rear view is on the next picture. The back of the garage again is shown there. I don't know if we can move it over a little bit. Good. Yeah. So the land, as I mentioned, there's a wet area down way in back. And so the land drops off to the back, and the basement area is then above ground with the walkout under the deck. So the first floor goes from the deck to the right, and the second floor is across the top. Again, it's essentially 6/6 style windows. And it's got a nice Cape Cod flair to the house design. I'm not sure if the side views are on here.
No, that was my question, Richard. I don't see any side elevations.
Yeah, I saw the side elevations at the office today. I was down this afternoon.
And then takes a second. The backside didn't scan in.
The side by the garage has a dormer, and there are two windows in the dormer. And the lower side, there are two windows also, side of the garage. And then on the other side, I think there were a couple of windows there on the first floor. I don't know if Grace would be able to put the other one up at all. The two sides were on one sheet. Ann, do you have any comments to?
You need to
make on-
unmute, you need to unmute yourself, Ann. Lower left on your screen.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. It's a traditional Cape style home. The windows will be two divided windows. There'll be grills between the glass applied to the outside and to the interior. Just tried to stay with the proportions of a traditional Cape, doing the 12/12. And cedar shingles. We continued the shingles down over the concrete of the garage. That's why you see no windows on the bottom part of the garage. That's all concrete.
Yep.
Grace, did you find the side elevations? I can email them.
I have them.
Oh, okay. All right. But basically we tried to stay with a very traditional Cape considering the neighborhood. The location was determined by the wetlands, which has been approved by conservation already.
Right, good.
So we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the
There we go.
side.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions on this design?
On the left elevation, is that a vent for a fireplace between the two?
Yes.
That's sort of a family room or something, I take it.
Yes, it is. Family room, kitchen, it's all open on the inside.
So all the bedrooms are upstairs?
No, there's one on the first floor.
Oh.
Oh, the window on the principal gable end on the left elevation, where that's set close to the rake board,
Yes.
the reasoning for that?
There's a wall and a bathtub in the way, so I can't move it over.
Okay. Grace, could you put the front elevation back up, please? Thank you. It's a rear. There we go. That looks quite nice to me. And the rear elevation is not visible from the street and obviously, or any other public way. So I had a question regarding the orientation of a window there too, but since it's on the back, maybe my question is moot.
I think this is very nice.
Front elevation in particular, which of course is the most critically important one, is very, very pleasing.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the application.
I'll second. Paula.
Okay. All in favor of accepting this application? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Paula Morrison,
Aye.
and myself, Richard Gegenwath, aye. So, Ann, when will you start building on this?
I'm not exactly sure, but probably in the next few months.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and it's a very good, I do most of my work up in the East Sandwich area, and it's a
Right.
sandwich builder who does a very nice job.
Right. I think I've met you up at Sandwich.
Yes,
A couple of items.
yes, couple of appeals, yes.
Good.
I'll be seeing you again.
I don't like to see you too often, except. for
No,
things
every
like
5
these.
years or so.
These are very nice gatherings. Good. Are there any abutters that?
Yes, I was just thinking while I was rushing to approve this application enthusiastically, I didn't ask about abutters. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah. But
We have one
I
person.
guess not. Huh?
We have people raising their hand.
Oh, okay.
Oh, someone just unraised their hand. There's another with their hand raised though. There's maybe two.
Hopefully they were in favor.
Hopefully. Oops.
Uh,
phone number that ends in 0473, you had your hand raised. You can speak if you'd like. Or 18375. Both had hands raised. Oh, 0473 is unmuted, so you can speak at any time.
Hello, Steve here?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry, I'm waiting for the solar project, so I'd raised my hand earlier because I wasn't
okay.
thinking I was gonna get through.
They'll be
So-
coming up a little later.
Yes, does look nice, thank you.
Good, thank you. Anybody else?
It looks like the 375 is muted.
Yeah,
Or hung up, I think. Is that what that symbol
no,
indicates?
it's muted.
It
Symbol.
looks like it's hung up.
Yep, that's what it looks like to me.
Well, no one's speaking, so.
Well, that's good.
Lucky break.
Okay. So, well, as you know, Ann, if there are any changes that you want to make, let us know in advance, please.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely. Hopefully there's no changes.
okay, it's a very nice design.
All right, thank you very much.
You're
Good night
welcome.
now.
Good
Night.
Right.
Bye.
The next item on the agenda is concerned with a stockade fence at 18 Rihanna Road. Judith Nelson is the homeowner. Is Judith here tonight?
Let's see. Yes, I can promote her.
Hello?
Hello,
Yes, this is Judith Nelson at 18 Wyana Road.
good.
I would like to install a 6-foot-high natural cedar stockade fence with 8-foot wide panels with a 1-foot setback from the property line, the surveyed property line, and 130 feet along the rear lot line, 24 feet along the right side lot line, which meets the rear lot line, and 16 feet long at the right side lot line where it meets the rear lot line. And the final panel on the right side will be tapered to 5 feet tall. The finished sides will face outward, and the white vinyl fence installed on my property will be removed.
Yeah, now, is there a, like a split rail fence there now?
No, there's a white vinyl fence there now. That,
I think,
the picture you see there is the front of my house at the street level. The
right,
street, well, the street is visible in the photo, but it's kind of dark here.
yeah. But if you go around the right side of your house, as the driveway goes up there, and I thought towards the back corner, there was like a split rail fence.
Oh, the lady that lives on the left of me, number 14, has a
Uh-huh.
split rail fence there.
Maybe what I was looking at.
Yes. That is the back of my yard. My yard is on the left.
Right, okay, so and this is the surveyor's marks.
Yes.
The vinyl fence was there, I understand, when you bought the house.
Yes, it was.
And so whoever put it in didn't know what they were doing.
Yes, you are correct. I have found out from the beneficiaries of the woman's estate, they were family members, and they told me that the man in the lot behind, Stu McDonald put it up. And their exact quotes were he wasn't very fussy about boundaries.
I guess not.
And I learned that he didn't get a permit either.
Right, yeah, because we never saw that fence before. And so they never came before us to get it approved because they
No.
wouldn't have gotten it approved.
Yes, I agree with you.
So how far is that from the number 20 house? Because the front of their house would face this fence.
Right. Is my camera not on or something? Wait a minute.
There you go.
You want to see what I look like?
Yeah,
There I am.
okay, so the
Here I am.
24 and the 16. Yeah, where it said 16 feet is what I thought there was a
No,
little
it's a
fence.
very lopsided lot,
Yeah.
as you can see.
So the other house on 20, number 20, is where that compass
Compass is.
is.
Yeah, back further back there somewhere.
So the setback on that's probably something like 40 feet, similar to yours from the road, 44 feet. Well, let me tell you, a letter came today from Patricia and Demetrius Trempelas, who live in 20, and they happen to be in Florida right now. But they explained about the fact that the fence was there before these two houses were purchased in 2015. And from their point of view, the white fence looked nice, but they didn't put it up. And they were concerned that a 6-foot stockade fence would kind of not look so good for them, looking out the front of the house, all the rooms that face that direction would have a stockade fence there. So they suggested that maybe the 6 foot could be reduced in height and or modified so it looks more appealing. Because you know when you put up a fence, typically you put the better side out.
Yes, I intended to put the better side out.
Yeah, but even so, stockade fences can look kind of boring in the sense that there's the same thing going on for 130 feet.
I had a couple of thoughts on this as I saw it today. Judith, you have done a lot of planting there and you've got a bunch of arborvitaes there that are a good size, maybe about, I don't know, 6 feet, maybe 5 feet. And they'll get bigger. So I can fully understand you. Are you going to put this fence in line with the property line, just a foot offsetting?
Yeah.
I assume, yeah, so you wouldn't put it at the same angle as the white fence.
No,
You'll make it at the property line with just a 1 foot setting.
right.
Those arborvitaes in a couple of years will probably obliterate the view of that fence.
Well, that's not my concern. My concern is I'd like to have some privacy and enjoy my yard. I have a pet I don't want running around there.
Okay, that makes a difference. Okay. Does it have to be a stockade?
Yes, that's my choice. It would be historically appropriate as opposed to a vinyl fence.
Yes, absolutely. I just wondered if you could put in a 4-foot picket fence.
No, because the pet would jump over the 4-foot fence.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, the other thing
Oh.
is a cedar board fence with scallop top.
I'm trying to put in the most cost-effective fence possible. And I did look at the zoning board of appeals. And I saw that on January 15th, 2020, someone was objecting to a structure that would block their views, their sunlight, and their breeze. And the zoning board of appeals ruled that no right to an abutter to an unobstructed view, breeze, or sunlight, and the structure would not be detrimental to the neighborhood.
The bottom line, I think, in 2 or 3 years after you put this fence up, it'll be less obtrusive to see than the white fence because it'll blend in with the landscape. Cedar fences just kind of disappear.
Right.
You know, they're there, but because they're brown and they've weathered, I mean, I see this woman's point, but I think over time, she won't even notice this fence.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
so I'm confused. The arborvitaes are on the outside of the fence?
no, they're on the
They're
inside.
on Judy.
Right, so
Judith's-
that's not going to have any effect on her view of the fence, the neighbor's view of the fence.
Exactly, exactly.
That's only.
I
gonna-
just think in 3 years, the fence will be weathered and fairly unobtrusive. It'll still be there, but I don't know. I think a picket fence would be better for her, so she'd have a better view. But again, you know, I don't know.
Well, I do have a pet and it jumps, so I'm trying to
Oh, you
keep that
can
in
walk
too.
right around the fence. Because it's not closed off at the sides.
No, and that's why I'm trying to put the fence up.
Is it going to be fully enclosed to your house?
No, it's going to be enclosed down the sides,
Right.
so much so the dog won't run up there. And I will have some privacy.
Well, it
But
calls
the dog
for
has
like
nothing.
100, there you go. It only comes 16 feet on one side and 24
Right.
on the other.
Because over here, I don't know, can you see my cursor moving?
No,
Nope, I'm sorry. There's a driveway that goes into my garage. That's why only 16 feet. There's a driveway there.
So you're not concerned about the dog getting out of the yard where there would be no fence if we approve this application?
No, because on the other side, the street dead ends there. So I'm trying to keep that and things, people from coming in my yard up there. And there's just woods on the left.
But there's nothing to prevent the dog from leaving the yard.
Yes, but I will put something there to keep him out, but not a fence. There's a driveway there and some stones to park on.
So what are you thinking of putting up?
I could possibly put a electric fence there.
Okay, so that would be, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here for a minute. So an electric fence would be effective in place of the stockade fence also.
No, I would not want to torture my dog with that. So I would not put that back there.
Well, I'm just, in the interest of consistency, if you're thinking of an electric fence somewhere, then I'm just saying it could be everywhere. Not that I'm saying that not that I'm saying that I'm advocating that, but it seems to me that in some respects, in connection with the stockade fence, a 6-foot stockade fence, the dog issue is something of a red herring. In as much as without some other restraint, an electric fence, the dog is going to be able to escape the yard anyway. And if an electric fence is your idea for deterring the dog escaping, then it could be around the perimeter of the property. You could put a
No, I
invisible
disagree
fence.
with
You
you on
could
that
put
because-
an invisible fence around the entire property. I'm just saying, for the argument of the dog is maybe not the most compelling argument for the fence. I understand the privacy issue.
It's the privacy and the dog. Two
Okay,
things.
all right. Well, I've given you what my thoughts on that subject. I like Richard's idea of the cedar board fence.
Cedar board fence and make a scallop top on it.
That is far more costly than I could ever afford. I'm trying to do it historically appropriately and cost effective.
Do you have a lot of, are there a lot of other stockade fences in that neighborhood?
Yes, on the house on the other side of me where you saw that split rail fence, in her backyard, there is a stockade fence on, she has an angled yard the way I do, and it's on one of her angles there.
Is
Not
it-
on
is it
101 Wayano Road is on the street, and there's a house behind it at 105 Wayano Road, and they have a stockade fence.
Is it the same expanse,
Yes,
the same length or
Yes, yes.
equivalent length?
yes, it's the same height.
No, length, the length.
Yes, I believe so.
130 by 16 by 24.
No, I didn't measure their fences.
Well, you can eyeball them.
Yeah.
And
The,
The one next to me looks very long. I mean, on the house next to me, not next to me.
What
Yeah,
kind
the
of
fl-
dog do you have?
I will be getting a Cobra dog.
Cobra dog.
Yes.
And how big do they get?
Well, they can get to be 80 pounds tall. And you need to have a fence that's at least 5-6 feet tall, they said.
the thing is, we take abutter considerations very seriously, and I can sympathize with her point of view about having to look at a stockade fence.
Well,
It would require her planting to screen out the fence. And, I know you're concerned about the cost of a cedar board fence as opposed to a stockade fence, but it would also constitute a cost for her to have to screen out the fence if she desired to do that. So I'm sympathetic to the fact that that the cedar board fence would be more costly, but it would also be a lot nicer and an enhancement to your property. So there's a trade-off there, would seem
well,
to.
frankly, I prefer a regular stockade fence. I used to work at Sturbridge Village and I like the effect that that has. And I feel it's historically appropriate.
Well, Sturbridge Village, this is not Sturbridge Village.
No, but it's the
Oh.
Historic Commission, and that's why
I
I chose
understand,
that.
but it's not really the best analogy because it's quite different from an aesthetic perspective, from an environment, in terms of the environment, the location.
Well, I think the person, if they don't particularly care to look at that type of fence, they could put some bushes there or make a garden there.
There's an abutter with a hand raised. Do you want to take their comment, Richard?
yes, please.
Patricia, you should be able to speak if you unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You've read my summary, so I don't want to rehash that unless you think it's necessary. However, when I wrote this summary, I didn't realize the fence was going to be 130 feet long. It will definitely be visible from Wayano Road. I believe that it will affect the aesthetics of the setting of not only my home, but the home next door that shares the driveway. And the only way that I will be able to see anyone coming up my driveway, if this fence is allowed, is if I stand in my garage at the garage door. Otherwise, from every window in the front of my house, I will be obstructed. I will not even be able to see Wayano Road. that is slowly happening anyway with the plantings. And we don't object. We agree that Ms. Nelson has a right to plant. She certainly has a right to put up a fence. And I'm not here to ask that she not put up the fence, because that white fence was there when we purchased the house. I just don't think aesthetically to look at that fence all day, every day, for every window I can look out of is appealing. And since the bushes are growing anyway, it's difficult for me to see Weano Road. And with the fence and additional going out more than I thought it would, I won't be able to see my driveway. I will not be able to see people coming up the driveway.
I'd like to make a comment also. This is her husband, Demetrius Trontelis. With all the plantings that Judy has done on her side of that white fence, I don't know how a dog would be able to get the speed to jump over a fence that is even 4 feet tall. And she has privacy prior to all her plantings. I agree, she didn't have any privacy at all, nor did we. But with all her plantings, all we see now is the roof of her house, except for the far left-hand side, where we actually see straight down over her garden. And I can almost, I can spot her mailbox, but I can't see my mailbox. So, you know, like a 6-foot fence just seems like a wall.
The other thing I wanted to point out, because I did some time ago go over to the Old Kings Highway District to find the regulations and guidelines for fences, because we had been told that that vinyl fence was ours. And then once Ms. Nelson had the survey done, it was clear that it was on her property. So I felt that it would probably become an issue. And I even wanted to know whether we needed to take it down, because at that point I thought it was ours. And it was explained to me that once a fence is in place, they wouldn't force someone to take it down. However, today, before preparing myself for the meeting, I was looking at the guidelines regarding fences, and number 2 shows application for a certificate of appropriateness for wooden fences over 4 feet and up to 6 feet tall. And under that, bullet point number 2 says location of fencing over 4 feet high is not approved forward or front fascia of building. Yes, the fence is hers and it's going to be in back of her house. My house at the left-hand corner, as you face it from Weano, looking at it straight on, according to a survey that was done by the previous homeowner, is just 40 feet from the property line. So in essence, if I were to ask to put up a 6-foot fence in that location, it would not be allowed. So I would argue, or ask you to consider, I won't argue, I would ask you to consider that effectively, it would be like me putting up a fence in my front yard.
It's true.
So I could go on and on, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
That's
Let me
really
ask-
basically the point I felt I wanted to make, other than it really is not going to be real pleasant to look at. And I will have to go to great expense to hide a fence that I doubt she'll even be able to see once the bushes fill in even more.
Patricia, how would you feel about a cedar board fence instead of a stockade fence?
I would feel better with a 4-foot fence.
So the height is the critical issue. The material
The
is
height
not
is the
critical.
issue. The height is the issue. A 4-foot fence is not at all objectionable. Honestly, cedar board versus stockade, it's still 6 feet tall. And I'll still have to do plantings. And I feel that if I want to sell my house in the future, it will affect the value and aesthetics of selling my home.
I agree. Yep. Yeah, it's a problem. The aesthetics, I certainly wouldn't want it in my front yard. It's a problem. So
May I say something?
Of course.
Judy,
I would like to let you know that they're 50 foot, they have 50 feet on Wayano Road, right on the street. My front yard is only 50 feet wide on Wayano Road because they have 50 feet wide on Wayano Road. and that is where their frontage is. Then they have a driveway. They have a triangular piece down there on the street. It's 50 feet along the street. Then an angle goes up approximately 60 feet. Then they have a 10-foot driveway. So their frontage is really on the street. And that is the way the town fathers designed the lot breakups, or the lot, how they cut the lots up.
Yeah, when they patched them all together, you need to have a certain amount of uh, frontage on the street. So
And
they
I
do
feel
it
that
in its
this
odd
fence-
way. But
This fence would be
nevertheless,
very necessary for me to have some privacy so that I can enjoy my own yard.
Say it again.
I look at it from the point of view of the neighbors. We would never allow them to put the fence up there in front of the house. It's,
I was there today, and honestly, I went to the front door of Patricia's house. I stood there, and the plantings that you have already afford a great deal of privacy.
yeah,
And they're immature. Those plantings are immature. And I think the argument about the dog jumping over it is absolutely true, that he'd have to get through those plantings and then from a standing position, jump over a 6-foot or a 4-foot fence. Very few animals can, at a standing position, jump over a 4-foot fence. I do believe the dog issue is not a viable issue. And as far as privacy, I understand that you want to get your lot outlined to where it should be. And so to put up a fence to establish your boundary is very reasonable. But I think to put up a 6-foot stockade fence is not. I
yeah,
think a 4-foot fence would be a very reasonable adjustment to make in that plan.
or
Would you be willing to look at the photo I show you where Wagon Road is dead-ended on the other side of my property?
Right.
Wagon Road dead ends there, and it's maybe about 10 feet higher than my property. And I would like to put a fence there to prevent people from coming down through my yard also, so I need some privacy.
Those don't come.
I think if
Well-
you need privacy on the side of your, what is that, the left side of your house?
The left side corner, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so
And the
I
back.
think a fence going between those two properties where Wagon Road is
yeah, 24-foot.
is a reasonable thing. But I think,
I think it would look very odd to see a 24-foot fence there, a 24-foot long fence along that side, and then a fence along the back to come up and meet the white fence. That would look worse.
well, the
that's
white
not
fence
the-
is gonna be gone.
I will not take that down unless I put another,
No, we could
unless I'm
mandate that
allowed
it
to
be
put a
taken down.
6-foot stockade fence up.
The plastic fence is a violation. We could mandate that it be taken down.
Yes, but I know that that was put in by the previous
That's
owner.
not-
I have
That
written-
doesn't matter. That's not relevant. Anyway, it seems to me that with respect to the dog, that the invisible fence is a viable option. And given the fact that the applicant is only willing to consider one kind of fence, a specific height and a specific material with cost considerations overriding aesthetics, I move to deny the application.
Paula,
I'll second.
okay. We'll take a roll call. Paula Morrison.
I,
The I now counts for denial.
yes, could I just say that denial, maybe with the caveat that if down the road, she would agree to something that's 4 feet tall and less obtrusive, that we would look at this again. Of course, we look at anything again, but I don't think this closes the door for doing anything, but I would be denying what is currently on the table.
Yeah, Bob Wilkins, your vote is
I to deny.
right. And mine is too, Richard Gegenwarth. So it's denied. But on the other hand, as Paula said, we'd be open to some modification. One modification I would suggest is that you put a stockade fence on the 24-foot section and then make it a corner by coming out another section of 8 feet and then taper down to 4 foot. So, and you could taper down the other part too. So that corner would be fenced in and people coming down that other way will see that. And it's a good stopping point for them. So that would be very useful.
Well, that doesn't really serve the purpose of my request.
Well, your request, as you've got it, is denied. You can appeal to the Old Kings Highway Commission, which handles complaints from Sandwich to Orleans.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good night now. All right. The next item is one which was held over from the last meeting 2 weeks ago.
Call from 1-855-883-3484.
Okay, so the item is concerned with
Call from 1-855-883-3484.
the installation of rooftop solar panels and an energy storage system at 45 Camelot Road. The homeowners, William Corcoran and Sunrun Installation Services, where Stephen Kelly is the agent. So they've made some modifications from what they submitted 2 weeks ago. And that's given on the new material that we received. The technical information is the same as it was before, but if you look at, I guess it's item 25. Yep, it's on the screen now. The panels that were down on the garage end of the house were removed, and they were visible from the next street over. And so the homeowners want to go with a reduced number of panels just on the main section of the house. Is Stephen here tonight, or William Corcoran?
Yes, I am. Grace, you got to,
Good. So what would you like to say about this?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we moved the panels from the rear of the garage to that upper dormer roof that's less visible from
Yep.
Church Street, I believe it is.
Yeah, you can't see the top of the dormer from that street.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's a perfect resolution.
So are there any,
And we did,
I'm sorry.
we did continue with the same black on black panels.
Good. Okay.
Are there any abutters present? Hearing none. Pardon me, Grace?
Not at the moment.
There are none. I think this satisfies Paula's very intelligent suggestion last meeting, and I move to approve.
I second.
Okay, all in favor of approval, Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
and Paula Morrison,
Aye.
And myself, Richard Gegenworth, aye. So you can move ahead with that project. And if you can make any modifications that'll be visible to us, let us know in advance so we can weigh in on it.
Yes,
Steve,
you bet.
good. Thank you very much, Steve, for cooperating on this.
Thank you. And thanks for giving us a shot. We look forward to working more down there.
Great.
Great.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Stay safe.
Okay, the next item is the construction of a deck at 34 Railroad Avenue. Donna Laguerre is the homeowner and Stephen Rogers is the agent. I guess they were not able to be with us last time. The material that they submitted at that time has been carried over. So, right, here you go. It's a Trex decking, 16 by 20. The color is lava. And the railing section is a Trex black. This is basically very low to the ground. It's like one step down.
Is there a plot plan?
Yes.
The layout's at 7. So you can see the existing 2-bedroom dwelling, top of foundation design, and then the big patio that's there. Essentially going there where the brick patio is, I think.
And where is Railroad Avenue in relationship to this drawing? Is it on the left?
It's on the left.
Okay.
Yep.
So we don't have a rendering, but it looks like the deck would go, as Richard said, where the patio is. We don't have a drawing of what it will look like.
Yeah, we do. I think it's number 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot in this drawing. As you can see, they're using 2x10 pressure treated joists. And that's supporting the Trex decking. And then there's a step down. And in the cross section at the lower part, it has 12x12 concrete pads. And there's sleepers, so-called, under the joists of 4x4 pressure treated. And they go on these posts. However, from our point of view, that's all very nice. But from the building department's point of view, I don't think they'll allow this to be sitting on 12x12 concrete pads. Because unless you go down to the frost line, the thing is going to be from one winter to the other, changing shape and twisting and being a mess after a while. So I would think that part of the drawing would have to be modified and done according to code.
Probably with sonotube substituted for the pads.
Yeah, right. Now, is Steve Rogers here?
I am.
So what do you think, Steve?
Okay, so I think there might be a little bit of a misunderstanding. If you look at the concrete design, it's one pour for the entire footing. So
Yeah.
which is 12 by 12 and in some sections 12 by 18. The whole thing's one pour with rebar all through it. It's not like patio blocks or something, which I
Yeah, I
think,
understand, but
okay.
that just means that the whole length, this it could be, what, 10 feet long? Whereas it's 12 by 12, but that's a long 12 by 12.
It's very long. It's shaped more like an E. I
Yeah,
think,
but those sections can be 10 foot long.
yes.
And depending on how the frost is, granted they have rebar, but they're still going to move.
Is there a required depth for those? Should they be like 3 feet into the permafrost?
4 foot.
4, okay.
Well, yes. I could put footings, 4 foot down, sonotubes at like the corners or something to keep it from moving.
And what about the middle?
So, well,
Well, we could vote on this application without regard to the structural issues. That's
Right,
really
right.
our purview.
Yeah, that's why I commented before.
Right. So I don't think we should get too deeply into this, except to make the homeowner / contractor, I guess you wear 2 hats, Steve?
no, Donna is the homeowner.
Okay.
I'm the contractor.
All right. Well, we're just making you aware of the possible problem down the road, but it doesn't impact this application insofar as we are concerned.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, in either case, you have to get a building permit. So
Yes,
it's going to
sir.
have to go through, the design has to get approved by the building department.
Yeah, all I need is an engineer's stamp.
Okay.
I like the design of it. I like the fact that it comes out a little bit and kind of finishes off the end of that corner.
Yep,
I think it's nice.
And there are no railings involved, correct?
The only rail is where that it would be required is next to the door. If you see the door at the top of the picture, there's a bulkhead there.
Okay.
And so there would be too much height. It would be unsafe
Okay.
to step on that step and then into the house. So I'm going to put a railing there, which can be removed when you need to use the bulkhead, that rare instance where somebody needs to use it. You could get by it with the rail in place, but if I make it so that it can be removable, but it's it's a strong balustrade that'll still hold a 300-pound man going sideways.
Okay.
good.
I move to approve the application.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Paul Morrison,
Aye.
and myself, Richard Gegenwath. Aye. Good. Okay, good luck with it now, Steve.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank
All
you.
right.
We
Good luck
didn't
with the
ask
rest
for
of your
any
meeting.
butters, but I don't think they would object to that because they won't be able to see it. Good. Okay. So we'll see what happens with Judith Nelson after she settles down and thinks about it some more. She'll hopefully cool off and think about something that would be cheaper and more useful.
Yeah, I think she's got every right to put up a fence, but in this situation where you've got a house directly behind you that's going to be looking, and she called it a fortress, this Patricia. I think she's right.
Yeah,
So,
she is,
yeah.
definitely. Yep. So we were going to have the minutes for the January 11th meeting. However, Grace has been very busy doing a lot of other things and putting all this material together, and having been inundated with 11 items for the next agenda, all of those have been flowing into the office. We don't see it until another week from now, but in the meantime, she's had to be confronted with all that. So the minutes will come later. Any other business that we need to speak to tonight?
Well, nothing new. We have the ongoing violations. The most egregious, in my humble estimation, is the house on the northeast corner of Vesper and 6A. And they seemingly have their heels firmly dug in insofar as the plastic fence is concerned. And we haven't even really begun to fight on the iron fence, the pool fence. So I don't know what the status of that is, but somewhere down the road, I think we have to be ready to tackle those issues at that location.
Yeah. That, I just soon move that out until COVID settles down a bit,
That makes sense.
a few months,
That makes sense.
just to walk around their property and so on, interact with them. So there are 6 participants showing. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak on us? Because I see 4 faces up here.
There is a call-in listener, but I don't know if they want to raise their hand to speak or not. The 07534 number. If you'd like to speak, you can raise your hand by pressing *9.
When we met
If you're interested.
at the town hall, sometimes we would have visitors that wanted to speak at the end of the meeting about something that they were going to come back with a proposal at the next meeting, sort of an informal get together.
And sometimes people who just love our meetings so much that they just can't stay away.
Yeah, and the beauty is there's no ads.
That's right.
There are not many channels that you could go to and not have ads.
That's true.
I hate that. I keep hitting the pause button.